Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be looking into the fallout of the prince, formerly known as the Duke of Pork. We're going to be looking at everything that's happened with Andrew. You left me loads of questions, and I really appreciate you all. So I thought what we'd do is we'd do a bit of a deep dive, yeah? There's so much going on right now. There's so many stories breaking. There's so much coming out from the Virginia Giuffre memoir that is coming out. I think it's Tuesday, the 21st. That is new moon in Scorpio. I told you it was going to be big. I told you something was going to happen around because it's also with Scorpio's new moon. It links into the King's energy, making moves and stuff. I wonder if there's any Scorpio in any bigger placements in William's charts as well. That would be interesting to find out. I must ask people about that. But we're going to be looking into all of it. So we're going to start off with Andrew and Fergie, see what's going on with them. Then we're going to move on to Meghan and Harry, because they're going to try and capitalize off this in some way or form. And then we're going to look into Prince William's energy around this whole situation. But we're going to start off with Andrew and Fergie. Now, how I do this is I work in layers. I'd use a Celtic cross spread. I read the cards by using some traditional methods, Jungian interpretation, which is also kind of traditional method at this point. And of course, there is the star signs, and that's how I can predict who's what and where in the spread. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm using different decks for all of them. So there's a lot of cards. So please forgive me if there's a lot of cards. Yeah. What is happening right now with Prince Andrew? There is accusations, and there has been long rumors on the internet that Andrew's team and people around Andrew have been kind of putting pressure on certain groups to get certain narratives out there, which is really interesting because that's very similar to what the Montecito Markles do. So we're going to be looking into that. It might come across that. There's also, with that being said, how he's gotten information to disseminate about Giuffre. Allegedly, he got one of his Met bodyguards to get some information on her, and he then used that information to smear her in some way or twisted. I don't know, though. Apparently, there's going to be a big inquiry. I told you this whole Andrew thing was going to be bad, man, and it's really going to be bad. I don't think it's finished yet. I do think there's more coming out. In fact, there's another book coming out later this year, and that is from another Epstein survivor. So there's going to be a lot more. I'm unfortunately, there's going to be a lot more. It's a lot. It's a lot. I just want to say off the cuff, I think they should have got rid of after the Newsnight interview. To be honest, I really think they should have more or less done that. But hindsight is 2020, is it not? And I've always said he's going to lose his titles, or he was going to lose something. And don't forget that losing titles, even though they're put in abeyance or something, losing the titles, it's a big thing to these people, because especially look at Harry's hanging on to it for dear life. Look at the Duke and Duchess of Windsor back in the day. There was such a kerfuffle because the monarch wouldn't give Wallace HRH. So they do take a lot of emotional pride and value in their titles. So it is a bit of a thing. It's not probably as much as quite a few people want, but it is still a bit of a thing. Let's have a look into Andrew and Fergie. Now, Fergie is a Libra. She's just had a birthday. In fact, they cancelled the birthday party because of the fallout from the book. I actually think it was a bit ambitious that they'd even planned one, to be fair, with knowing the book was coming out around this date. Fergie's a Libra, and Andrew is a Pisces. He's on the Aquarius Pisces cusp, but he is the 19th of February, so he's just over on the side of Pisces. So there's that. And both girls will come out as fire signs if they're in here in the reading at all. William is, of course, Cancerian, so I can be able to identify him. And the king is a Scorpio. Lots of water energy with the men in the royal family. Lots and lots of water energy. And that's why there's such a different vibe, because Prince Philip was an air sign, and he's very quick and everything. Now, William is a water sign, but he's on the cusp between Gemini and Cancer. So he's kind of got some Gemini traits, like, you know, there's that Prince Philip quick mind in there, you know. But there's also got a lot of empathy with links into the Cancerian traits and things like that. Anyway, let me get on with the reading for you. So how is Fergie and Andrew getting on? What went down? Show us what pressures they are under. Let's just check in on their energy, guys. Let's just do it. Let's just see. Let's just go. Okay, we have got the Queen of Swords is in reverse. That's Fergie. So she is actually taking things very, very badly today. This energy around her is there's some stories that have come out that she took Eugenie and Beatrice to the island, or met up with Epstein after he came out of prison. Yeah. So there's that. The Queen of Swords in reverse could also be that they're getting some very dodgy legal advice. It could be that, but we'll see what's crossing over. And personally, I gravitate towards more Fergie. What's crossing over is the Three of Pentacles. Okay, I'll come back to that. We've got the King of Pentacles in reverse above the situation. That's a man with big money, a corruption with money, and ungenerous. Okay, I mean, the book that's really, really set everything off that came out before Virginia Giuffre's is entitled. And people, the King of Pentacles in reverse, people really feeling like this dude's entitled. Like, I take everything. I want everything. I expect to be clad in a gold sheen. I expect everybody to kind of fall at my feet and do what I want. But it just doesn't work like that. We have got the Page of Cups underneath. They've gone into this. It's weird with this energy and with the Page of Cups underneath in the upright. It's weird that they've gone into this kind of vulnerable childhood energy, you know, this kind of emotional energy. Won't somebody think of the children? Won't somebody think of the former Yorks? And that's very much the energy there. The Three of Pentacles crossing over this whole situation implies that there's something else going on. There's somebody still working. I don't feel like he's fully given up, guys. Like, I know that sounds wild with everything that's going on, but I don't think he's fully giving up. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't, but like, he's not going to give up clearing his name at the minute. And there we have got the interesting, there's the police. The Knight of Swords there. Now, the Knight of Swords can relate to uniformed services. It can relate to things like that. But the police are launched an investigation, an inquiry, shall I say, into the whole situation about people getting information around Virginia Giuffre and giving it to Andrew through the Met Police. So there's that could well be it. That's it, to be honest. I'm just going to say it. That is that card. That's what's really, it's on the table. So that's bothering them, man. We have got the Empress in reverse. Okay, right. Okay. One of my pet peeves about this whole situation is the damage it did not only to the Queen in her later years. Remember, she was going through some things while all this was going on. And don't get me wrong, the Markles are just as complicit in all of this. Don't get me wrong. But all of that. But the thing is, Andrew wouldn't step away. He wanted to still be, you know, he still wanted the chance of all of the princely worldly stuff that he was getting. And he put his family in such a position. And when everything's come out, he's put them in the position, and he must have been lying to the royals. Now, don't think I'm suspecting that he's lied to the late Queen. because you've got to remember Prince Andrew brought in Ghislaine Maxwell. He waved her on through the palace, all the palace security. No, nothing was done. The police weren't allowed to vet her, and she got treated like a member of the family. So, and that's what more or less happened with Megsy as well. So the whole thing about just trusting what your family member says with the royal family and their friends that surround them, I feel like there was a little bit of a problem there. And I feel like it's put the Queen in a position, because we've got the Empress in reverse here, and this is the Mother card, and it's in reverse. I did not want to see this, because I am now very worried that there's something that Andrew said or done that is going to, and I'm not saying the Queen is culpable in any way or anything. God bless her. I don't believe that. But he's put everybody in a difficult position, his family in a difficult position. That's the kicker. This, of course, it could be the late energy of the late Queen, because it is the Mother card, and that's the only reason I'm saying the late Queen. But it also could well be Fergie's energy, and that could link into some more revelations, right, around Beatrice and Eugenie with this whole story. So those two things are very possible, but there is a link there with a mother and something big happening with regarding that mother energy, and those are the two mother energies that potentially can come out. Here we have what is on their mind. They are on the defensive, guys. The Three of Pentacles, they are working with somebody. They are trying to work with people. They are trying to get to a point that they can try and spin this into a different direction and do different things with it, you know? More is coming. We've got Judgment in reverse. What is the greatest failing of the Yorks, apart from their link to Island Boy and how they've behaved regarding money, and you know, it's basically been a weird kind of cash for access kind of thing on a monumental scale. But one of the weird things about them is their inability to read the room. They can't relate to normal people. Like you can understand. William gets it, you know. William really gets it. I feel like Anne gets it, you know, and certainly Anne's kids. They really do get it, but the Yorks, and kind of including the daughters as well, can't really read what normal people are thinking. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They just think everyone will go, oh, it's a prince, and like fa la 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 la, do a curtsy and all of that stuff, and that doesn't work. And to be honest with you guys, that's never worked with the public. And you can just go look through history. That's never been the case. So they've got a very fairy tale romanticized idea about how royals should be. It's almost like they think they're like the Disney royals, which in a way, and that ties into this kind of like very childish, emotional kind of stunted energy there. So yeah, there's an ability, but they are on the defensive. Let's have a look. What else? They're thinking about legal stuff again. And then we have there's going to be stuff with money. There's going to be stuff with motherhood and money. There's something more coming out, right? I think we've got to the point where we all can see that there's something's gone very, very wrong, very, very badly. But this is interesting. There's something about motherhood in reverse. Like I said, that could go to Queen Elizabeth, and I really hope it doesn't, guys. I'm just saying, I really don't want that to happen. That could also go to Fergie, and that could also, I mean, whew, I mean, he could have forced somebody to have a termination or something, allegedly, in my opinion. Like, it could mean that. It mightn't mean that. It mightn't. We'll see what happens. But those are that's interesting. That's something like that's coming up very soon. Something with more money, that like there's going to be more stuff with their money involved in all of this. And I think a lot of stuff about their money has come out already, but there's something more, like whether they're going to plead hard up and all of that kind of stuff is is something else. There's a level about entitled people where they kind of like, you know, think that they should just be given stuff for it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, speaking of entitled people, is move on to Megsy. Let's see how Megsy is in Monty shit show. So yeah, I think there's the police is definitely happening. There's something with legal that could link into the police. They're on the defensive. That he hasn't given up. He's going to try and try again. He's not going to. He is. They are not. They are going to fight for their dignity and all of that kind of stuff, guys. So expect nonsense from the Yorks going forward. Okay, speaking of nonsense and entitled, Megan, let's have a look. 10 of Pentacles. Okay, first away, it's in reverse. There's going to be some stuff like, oh, I'm so glad I'm away from that rich, wealthy family. Oh, I was brought in to be Diana 2.0, but I effed it up. You know what I mean? She's going to try and spin it like that. She's going to try and make out that she's run away from the men in grey suits, but also, you know, Epstein and all that kind of stuff. So this plays into a narrative for her, because that's how she's feeling about it straight off. There's the 6 of Swords in reverse, you know, and you know, I don't want to go back to that salty little island, as the sugars like to call us. There's traveling, right, and it's in reverse. There's not being able to move on as well mentally just going around in circles. So she's still obsessive about this whole story about justifying why she left the royal family. Yeah, but she's yeah, I think we're all past. We know what happened. You know, I think we're the only person who thinks that we don't know what happened is Megsy. You know, I mean, it's weird, it's wild. So the 10 of Pentacles in reverse and the 6 of Swords crossing over. The 2 of Cups is in reverse. That is separation, and it's linked to the card of Pisces. And the 10 of Cups. Oh, the 10 of Cups is in reverse. We've got 2 family cards. All is not happy in the home life of Megatron. Whatever's happening in Olive Garden Mansion right now, she's not a happy, but I mean, when she's she a happy bunny, but she really isn't a happy bunny at the minute. I don't know if the multicultural rescue chickens aren't speaking to her. I don't know what quite is going on, but she's not a happy bunny. So we'll just you know, sit with that for a minute. I know she's been doing this whole children's hospital. There's her friend, in inverted commas, a convenient friend, is her, sadly, this friend's kid died, and Megsy is, of course, you know, they're like a tragedy ghoul. Anyway, she's there to support the charity. But that 2 of Cups in reverse, guys. She's yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some more rumors coming from the Markles, etc., meaning the Montecito ones, about divorces and him and bad relations with Harry, because that's what's known about it. I mean, it's bad. I mean, it's been bad for a while. It's been hellish for a while. And I've been saying in the cards for ages, Harry ain't getting none, you know? And that's kind of coming out. But the 2 of Cups is in reverse, and that 2 of Cups in reverse is very much so. It's rumor light, you know? They want it to happen. If it was underneath, I'd say it was happening. Okay, the 7 of Swords is there, taking things that aren't your own. So she's actually going to twist this whole. There's going to be something coming up. What they're planning to do with this whole Andrew story is weave it into their narrative and try to take something away from the story that isn't theirs to take. So they're going to try and take victim status. Oh, we just couldn't be associated with the royals. Or also virtue status, where they're kind of celebrating the fact that they went away from such a horrible place. So that's 7 of Swords, that's taken something. There's also an element there of her I always like to say she's doing her role oppositional defiance energy, you know. It's just quite smug about this. Yeah, quite smug about this. I wouldn't get too smug, Megsy. The 8 of Cups is in reverse. Interesting card for what's coming up. There's the cards about movement, and the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse on what's on her mind and what's surrounding her straight away. Interesting. She's very jealous of the Wales family, and the Wales family, for me, when it comes out in a card reading, it's the Prince of Cups, especially around the energy of the children. No, it's not. I've just waffled on. I shouldn't have said that. Scratch that. It's the Knight of Cups. It's not the Wales children, but it is. This is actually very interesting. This is even more interesting. She doesn't like being called a influencer. She doesn't like it. She hates it. She hates the fact she's reduced to having to have a contract with Netflix where she just calls up and says, do you like this video? And they go, no. And that's it. There's no money really or anything like that. It's just first refusal, you know. That's very much Netflix and her consciously uncoupling. Oh, by the way, I predicted the whole Netflix thing in 2019 before they left the royal family. So there's that as well. Anyway, we've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse there. This is very much so something's going wrong. Something's going really wrong with the Markles. As much as she's enjoying and benefiting from what is happening. Yeah, Harry ain't getting on. And the Hanged Man is in reverse there as well. Impatience and stupid mistakes. So the 8 of Cups in reverse there. She is not ready to move on. She is not ready to do things. She is not ready to go forward with something. The Hanged Man in reverse is impatience. Harry still ain't getting on. She thinks she's going through an unlucky time. Let me have a look at thing. So things aren't good. That's how they're going to position it. Something about not wanting to walk away. There's going to be something about travel, and like whether it is travel of the emotions or travel of the mind, like wanting to get away from something that way. And sometimes it's physical travel, but there's travel around something. Okay. She doesn't really want to let go of the past, you know. She doesn't want to let go of the past because it's what she thinks is paying for those future beige outfits. That's the shit. That's the tea. That's the truth. That's what I see in the cards, in my opinion, allegedly, etc. Okay, let me have a look at Harry. Oh, Harry, you want to come out? Who are you? 3 of Cups in reverse. Oh, he's gossiping. He's talking about this. He's letting people. He's getting a lot of phone calls from friends. People he thinks are friends. He's having a big gossip about this. Yeah, he's enjoying this. The Page of Wands is in reverse, but there's something about it that makes him quite angry. He's enjoying it, but there's a level of frustration. That could be Megsy wanting to do something interesting. The 10 of Cups is in reverse there. Oh, they're gonna go for the whole family line thing. We've got 2 cards underneath. Okay, we have got I don't know how far in the future it's going to happen, but they're thinking about doing this kind of story where the king was quick to banish Megsy. This is how they're going to spin it. I don't believe this before anyone starts typing in the comments. The king has tried to the king banished Megsy. The Queen of Wands, that will be Megan, Leo in reverse. And the Death card is Scorpio in reverse. So they're going to try and say, look how the king spoke about Megsy. Look how they've forced Megsy out and didn't want her to come to the Queen's deathbed. Oh, woe is us. But they let Prince Andrew go up even after all of this stuff, and there's an element of that. And I know you might say, well, that's ludicrous, because even though all of that stuff happened, that Andrew still is her son. Don't underestimate the level of Squaddy's and Markle's intellect, yeah, because there's an element of that. Something's coming up with that. Oh, I've talked so much, me mouth hurts, you know. I've never shut up this weekend. Okay, let's have a look further at Harry. What's leaving the situation? And there it is, the family card, 10 of Pentacles. Listen, guys, we are so glad to be away from the men in grey suits and the family. And even though I love my family, there are aspects of my family that I just don't like corgis and Prince Andrew, and only getting 2 sausages when I should have got 3. So there is that element there. It's the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. There's the 4 of Coins in reverse. The 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Harry. There's something coming up with him with work. I say work in the loosest sense of the word. There's some issue around his work. Now, the only work, if you could call it that, is his Chief Grift Pact Officer thing at Better Thing. Like literally no one cares about this thing, this lifestyle coaching thing, you know. That's so 2010s, darling. But that 8 of Coins in reverse, that is very much him looking more incompetent than usual and looking like he doesn't work. Like things have got this, something that might be something in the press about how much time he does at work. There might be something in the press about his work, how he behaves at work. But he's gonna look incompetent. Okay, something's coming. It's not him. The 4 of Coins is in reverse. He's worried about loss of control, loss of fiscal control, real world control. And there's more money, real world stuff, the material. Okay, I'm wondering if they're starting to worry that this Andrew stuff could financially impact them. And this is where the story about the distancing narrative is coming from them, to try and triangulate themselves into being a victim or some kind of hero in the situation, you know. So there's that. The 7 of Pentacles, their timing is off. They have a money venture. They've set it out. It's not paying, but they need to cash it in before it pays out, okay? There's something there. There's something that they are growing that they've harvested too late or too quickly. And it's either rotten or it's not ready. And that is their energy to a T with them. Honestly, man. 7 of Wands in reverse. He doesn't want to get attacked for this. He doesn't want to get blamed for this. And there's a breakdown in work. There's something like he is worried about how his work's going to be impacted. And I say work, I mean what he thinks is work, which is, hey Harry, scrolling social media, going through readings, going through X accounts, going through Reddit accounts, all of that kind of stuff. So they're very much that kind of thing. Well, now we can see what vibes coming up with them. Okay, I am dumbfounded that the former Yorks are gonna still try and push. It's not gonna land. They're not going to do well with it, but I am dumbfounded that they will. Let's have a check in on William before we wrap up. The Chariot in reverse. Ooh. William comes out as the Chariot. He is an unhappy William. This is him. This is his energy. He is an unhappy William. He's really like, he's done. He's done with all of this nonsense. Stick a fork in him. He is over it. Absolutely over it. Okay, William. Okay, I know that. I feel that. We have the Strength card in reverse. Megsy. There you are, the Leo card in reverse, crossing over. This could be an indicator that Megsy has done something further to irritate William, right? Let's see what's above, and it's around this. So this could be very much about how William might have already caught on to how they're going to deflect. He wants to walk away from the whole situation, but he can't. William is bound by duty. And I think it's been a hard few weeks at the office. And a hard few weeks at home, because they take both of, when you think about it, they're living their job 24/7, and their private time even is dealing with the other family members who could just randomly go out and cause merry hell on the world stage. Harry and Meghan, Andrew and Fergie. So there's that as well. Under here is the Four of Pentacles. He's in control, though. He's well in control. And see the four. This is why I read in layers. See the Four of Pentacles here in reverse. What's on Harry's mind? Harry's worried about William's control. That is very interesting. We have got the Four of Swords. Okay. He's really worried about a legacy that has passed. He is really worried about the tarnishing of a past legacy. So I think he knows something is coming. That could be Diana, or that could be the late Queen. To be honest with you, I think with the Empress in reverse, it's a feminine energy, and that came out right at the start with Andrew and Fergie's cards. Wow. Okay. What we've got coming up? Death. Okay. Death in the upright. He is going to change things. Now, death can relate to Scorpio. Scorpio is the king. The king is a Scorpio, but it's also relating to change. I think we're going to start seeing more changes quicker and faster with William. William wants to put his foot on the gas and move forward at a speed with all of this. Let's have a look and see what's there. It has caused him stress. It has caused him stress. The Nine of... No, it hasn't. It has caused him stress around the boundaries, I want to say. The Nine of Wands. People have gone too far. What has happened? There's something happened with a female figure within the royal family. It's in the past. It's a past energy. It's someone who's passed over. So it's either Diana or the late Queen. And somebody's massively went over William's boundaries with this. This is really interesting. Okay. I feel so bad for William, man. And there's the Devil in reverse. He knows what he's dealing with. And there's the Ten of Swords. He feels betrayed by all of these people. By Andrew, by Fergie, by Meghan, by... What's he called? The other one, the ginger one. You know what I mean? He feels completely betrayed by all of them. He feels like he's not been stabbed in the front, not just once, but multiple times. You can see that with the Chariot in reverse. William is Cancerian, like I said, and he, straight away, he ain't happy. He's done. He's done. His boundaries have been violated. I am wondering, if the certain leaks and certain things is not coming just from the Markles, but it's coming through the Yorks allegedly and going to the Markles to be leaked. Just a thought. The Devil in reverse surrounding the whole situation. He knows he's up against. He knows that people are trying to control things. He knows how sleazy the underbelly is. He's seen it all. He knows it all. I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting to really... He knows everything about Megsy. Yeah? Or he has a really good idea. So this change coming up. King of Pentacles is in reverse as the last card for William, and it's the last card for the reading as well. Harry would come out as King of Pentacles. It's in reverse. Something's coming with Harry and William. Now, like I say, the timing on these cards, these people live very full public lives, so their energy is somewhat sped up in how many events that happen in a day-to-day basis. Us mere mortals, usually it can be like, 3 to 6 months, 6 months to a year. This, sometimes you've had predictions happen in a week, right? So I'm always very cautious to put a time on it. But within the year, him and William, is in Harry. When I point to the card, I mean Harry. Him and William are going to have more beef. something's going to happen. Harry's going to do something furtherly stupid. And William wants him gone. If we just read the cards as that is as well, if we just add the context to that, William ain't happy. And one of the two people who are in the spread that he was really unhappy with at the minute, and even though they're not in the necessarily negatively in the news cycle at the minute, well, they are in the news cycle being mocked and stuff, but they're not like, it's not like being celebrated, and it's they're not like they're causing any, they're not doing any salacious stories visibly themselves. Of course they run, you know, they very much have people running narratives for them within the mainstream media and on social media. So both Yorks and Markles, former Yorks and Markles. Anyway, so there's something going on with the Sussexes, and William is peeved off about it. And there's betrayal there. I'm going to have to do some more readings around this whole thing and really get to the bottom of some of the stuff. The only reason I don't read on the whole Andrew stuff all the time is because when I do readings, you guys you guys don't like him, you know. I mean, you don't even like to not like him. He's just like, oh, you know. With Megsy, I get everybody's really invested in that because everybody can get into what it is, but I feel like the stuff involved in the Andrew story is a little bit too icky for people, you know. It's a little bit odd for people, so I get that. I completely get that, but we will have to look more into it as well. So because there's something here, guys. There's stuff with how Andrew operates, and there's stuff with how the Sussexes operate as well. And it all ties into one. And of course, there's a link between the two links between the Sussexes and the Yorks. The first link is Fergie and Oprah and Meghan. You know, that Oprah interview? Well, there's that. Both of these ladies has done Oprah interviews, and I think that's quite interesting. And so they have that Oprah connection in common. So I wouldn't be surprised if Oprah wasn't circling around someone wanting an interview or something. And the other connection between the Yorks and the Markles of Montecito is, of course, Eugenie. Beatrice, not so much now, but definitely Eugenie, you know? And I don't think that's completely faded out. I think they have bumpy phases in relationships, but I don't think that's completely faded out. So what my advice would be for Prince Andrew would be, don't fight it. Go and play golf somewhere and keep a low profile and enjoy your life with your family and your friends around you. And I wouldn't try that. Like, you've passed the event horizon. There's no coming. There isn't any coming back. You know. Unfortunately, and the stuff with how the stuff that's been described, and I don't want to go in all into it, but yeah, that's what I would advise him. Meghan and Harry, I would advise just to give up. Like, just stop trying to be other people. Stop trying to relate to the royals and just go and focus on doing something that you actually like. But the problem is they don't like anything, because their only connection, their only bond is disliking and feeling sorry for themselves. That's how they vibe. That's how they roll, and having their little conspiracies. And William, I think William's doing fine. William's got the right energy. We're good with William. We're good with William's energy. So yeah, that's really cool. So unfortunately, there is more things coming up. I am not looking forward to some of it. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I appreciate you taking your time to click on my readings and be around. And yeah, I shall love you and leave you, and I'll see you soon for some more readings. Take care, everyone. Bye.